Hello fellow space engineers. Today I'm going to give you a tour of our survival world and the advances that we have made in refitting and building our ships and stations. But before I do that, I want to give out a shout out and a huge thank you message to Mad Mike. Mad Mike is a fellow YouTuber and a space engineer who has a really interesting channel in which he posts his experience as a diary in his survival world. And he is having, as it's mentioned in the title of this video, a giveaway of a copy of Space Engineers. Now, um, since I'm not giving the giveaway, I do want to help him with this task. I will give a copy of Space Engineers eventually when I reach 100 subscribers. We're trying to get our channels off the ground. But I want you to redirect my viewers to him because I think his material is worth watching. So a big thank you for that uplifting video. Sometimes you're in a moment of your life in which you just need like this push, and here comes somebody who basically leads you by example and gives you that tiny push that you need to keep on moving on any kind of difficult task that you're at right now. So go watch him, you won't be disappointed. So about the small tour that I want to give you of this survival world. Well, if you've been following the series, you realize that we started out at the central asteroid, and we had this large heavy cruiser that was constantly under attack by the invaders from the invaders mod by Arara, which is an amazing mod too, and we had to hide it behind the central asteroid. That wasn't that fun for two reasons. We were constantly being attacked, and basically the survival world became just repairing the cruiser, and that was all what we did. And on top of that, it was laggy as hell. As we discovered, asteroids are a major cause of lag. In the beginning we thought that it was large ships, so we reduced the size of our vessels. We decided to change the cruiser for this small destroyer, the Calypso, that we've been basically troubleshooting and prototyping in this survival world, so it works, best with its self-repair system. But that didn't quite solve the problem. And then we decided to move every single ship out of the asteroid and then try to do stuff with it, like having, one or two blocks, a small station. And yeah, we discovered that the asteroids do lag a lot. I don't know why. Maybe something that has to do with the voxels. Maybe they consume too much processing power. Anyway, that's not the point. So we decided to space out our constructions, our buildings and ships. So down the central asteroid, we have a shipyard. It's kind of like a secret shipyard. It's kind of cool. You'll see why. Then, all the way there, a few kilometers away, we have a space station. Now, the space station is an exploration find. It's actually the computer parts factory, and we found it right away, like right at the beginning of this new survival series, this new vessel. And we found it next to a large cruiser, a really cool looking one called the Raven. Since it was that big, we decided to cannibalize it to build our own, but we decided to keep the station, and we've been using the station basically as a refinery and manufacturing point. And I have a drone incoming, so we'll try to take it out, and after that I will continue to show you what's in the station and in the central asteroid. Okay, the drone has jumped in. Let's try to intercept. This is why I like this carrier. It's just so cool. Has that sci-fi feel to it. Hopefully it's a suicide drone. It's not gonna blast me out of the sky. Okay, let's wait for an intercept vector. Uh-oh, missile drone. Let's try to orbit around it. Whoa. behind it. Ah, jeez. It's flying too fast. Hopefully the Calypso can take it. Yeah, it got it. And basically we match. We have the same speed, so I can't catch up with it. Just gonna follow it to show you how it gets destroyed. Yeah. So if I stop using the inertial dampeners, it's just gonna fly away at full speed. And hopefully the in-game feature of trash auto removal would take care of the debris. Anyway. Okay, where is... So I was telling you that we have 3 points in our survival world. The station that we use as a mining drop-off point, in which we refine all the ore. The central asteroid that we use as a shipyard. And kind of like a midways point that I named Equidistantis, which is like a kind of like a lame attempt at Latin. I don't know if it's actually Latin for like equidistant. Could be. Anyway. And at this point we are parking our larger vessels. You know, just spreading them out to avoid lag, which is the main killer in this game. Okay. Let's go to the central asteroid and I will give you a tour. Okay, so this is the central asteroid with its moons, and actually asteroids do have moons in real life. You can go check it out if you want. It's really interesting. You know, anything large enough to have its own gravity can potentially attract other objects, even if it is a, you know, tiny gravitational force. And this is our secret shipyard. You know, the central asteroid has a large entrance, then a medium-sized entrance on the other side, and 2 smaller entrances down below. Now let me use our spotlights to show you, because this is the annoying DirectX 11, which I have to say I do not like. I mean, so far I think it needs improvement. So we decided to use the main cavity of the asteroid as our dry dock, and we have this setup here, a projector that is mounted on 2 rotors and a piston, so we can project both small ships and large ships from here. We are currently building a mining vessel. It's a mining drone designed by Captain Wolf. It's really fun to use. It just like eats 2 asteroids. And to do that, I kind of like adapted this from the design in the workshop. I will send you the link. It's a tiny ship that in essence is a construction arm. And now 2 players can actually operate this thing with one condition. They have to be on separate grids. So if you lock this arm into this half of the station, then you have to undock these 2 connectors here. Because you know, Space Engineers still has that annoying thing that 2 persons cannot be controlling remote control blocks in the same grid. Hopefully that will be solved with the new multiplayer update, so just cross your fingers. And that's why the station is divided. You know, you can see the division here with a left and right, you know, port and starboard sides. So 2 players can build a single ship, each one using the components in these large cargo containers. Eventually, like I said, if it gets solved, we just like leave them locked in and it will be fine. So for our ferrying of materials between the manufacturing point at the station and the shipyard in the asteroid, we use this modified, captured mining hole. No, it's not a mining hauler, it's a mining carriage. Let me just quickly reverse and show it to you. Hopefully I won't, damage it. Yeah, it's fine. So the mining carriage, we actually enjoy many of the in-game designs because they just work. I mean, they just do what they're supposed to. And the mining carriage is an example of it. It has two huge thrusters, which basically propel it to full speed really, really fast, just in a few seconds, and it's right on top speed. And it has 4 large cargo containers and this really nice landing gear array on the front, so you can move, capture ships or any other like chunk of metal that you find drifting in space. So this is basically our freight train, cargo truck, dogger, or dog ship. So, and it's also a mining prospector. As you can see, you can attach 2 mining drones on the sides, and we didn't have to modify much of the vessel. We just added this cockpit, an oxygen tank, cabin. We get the cabin here, so 2 people can travel. And we removed the annoying antenna on the back because the 6 o'clock of this vessel was a weak spot. That's how I captured it, and we laid the antenna on the side. Okay, there's another drone. So, this thing's really fast. I'm gonna try to intercept and kill the drone, and I'll tell you about the military escort that we captured and retrofitted too. Stay tuned. Okay, the invader drone has jumped in. In this mod, you get a warning, then the enemy ship spawns in, and then I think it activates the beacon, so you can intercept it. Let's see, apparently it's a suicide one. It's gonna make a good boom. Oh, Jesus. Really bad targeting solution. Firing solution, sorry. What I really like about Space Engineers Space Combat is that you really have to account for Newtonian physics. Basically, the intercept vector is what leads you to success or failure. Well, let's see. No. Okay, reload. What's wrong with me today? Got it. Strike guns. There it is. Nice boom. Sometimes you get sprayed by the debris. Actually, in a last play session, there was this unexploded ordnance that was ejected away from the internal cargo containers of the drone, and the thing was spinning, as if somebody throws a stick at you and it's spinning, and it just like flew by the cockpit. I wish I was recording it. I know it's kind of lame of me just telling you that, but yeah, it was exciting. Okay, let's continue our tour of the asteroid, and I'll show you the military escort that we captured. Okay, here we are. Let's take advantage of this whole light thing with the red X11 before it fades into black. You can clearly see the dry dock, the 2 robotic arms for building the ships, and the mining carriage. Okay, so as I said before, this asteroid has 2 smaller cavities. we plan on opening up this one and making it the fighter hangar. Oh, this lag. And this one, I already kind of like trimmed open to be the hangar for our captured and retrofitted military escort, which apparently got some battle damage. Yeah. Let's see if I have plates here. So, the vanilla military escort, to me, it always seemed like an interceptor ship, a small interceptor, because it's kind of like like a big fighter. So it has this huge antenna protruding on the front, kind of like a big stinger. Looks like a syringe, like a hypodermic syringe. So that was a liability for operating inside of asteroids. So we removed that antenna and we replaced it here. We also added an extra set of doors here to have kind of like an airlock. But I'll show you the interior in a while. So we replaced the antenna with these 4 320mm guns from the Okim Industries weapons mod. Now, I do have to say, I think I mentioned it before, to me that's the best weapons mod around. It's the most complete one. The accuracy is really bad. That's like the only complaint that I have. Otherwise, the models are amazing, the design is amazing, the purpose of them. Like, he made these different types of mounts that basically resemble like modern or like future gun mounts, like near future ones that you see on APCs, in anti-aircraft vehicles, in tanks. They just they do the game justice, because you see a lot of like World War II stuff in the Space Engineers Workshop, which is not quite fitting. I know some people like it, but it's not just our cup of tea here. So that's it about the Okim Industries weapons mod. We added a camera, a chaser camera, because basically this vessel you could only fly it using the exterior view, which is not that precise when it comes to aiming, especially if you're aiming fixed guns. We decided to retain the secondary armament, the Gatling gun on the front, which can be manned by a second player, and this kind of like Stinger gun that you see in heavy bombers like the B-52, or yeah, why not even World War II bombers. It's like, it's of really good help when it comes to fending off fighters that might try to get on your 6. I have no idea where this damage came from. We also updated the power plant. We added this extra thruster, because it turns out that the military escort had more thrusters on the front than it had on the back. It had 3 on the back and 4 on the front. So yeah, it brakes really well, but it doesn't accelerate that fast. And for a chaser ship, which that's the main purpose that we're using this one. We were using it to chase off small drones and capture, NPC vessels. So that wasn't that good. So that was the other change that we did on the outside. Now on the inside, you see the airlock, and sadly the mods, Icesters, decorations, and Uncle Steve doors, they have yet to be updated to the X11. I mean, I don't like the lighting that you see in the X11, but I do see the improvement in other aspects, and I know eventually it's gonna be like the way of playing Space Engineers, especially when it comes to performance issues. So we added a single cryo pod, medical room. So what we do is we chase a ship, an NPC ship, and we match speed, and we leave the military escort on its 6. We take out the turrets using the Okim fixed guns, and then we proceed to board it. And as you know, boarding is really hard in Space Engineers. Not because of Newtonian physics, it's because of the desync issues. You clip through a wall and then you die, and you don't want to spawn all the way back at base when you're trying to capture an enemy ship. So you want to spawn right next to it. So we leave this vessel like a few meters behind, and you can spawn here if you die, a horrible buggy death. So we have the bunk beds, nothing to see there, dark gray, and we have a toilet and a shower. We also upgraded the control room. It now has 2 seats. I think it could have another one, like right behind this, like facing that way. Well, anyway, this is enough for like the simplest boarding operation. So this is the tour of our retrofitted military escort. Now, in a follow-up video, I will give you a tour of the computer parts factory, the space station that we captured, and how we have expanded upon the original design, keeping on its original design philosophy and architecture, which we love. And we're gonna tell you why and what it reminds us of, the kind of like influence in our own like sci-fi, fan fiction, whatever you want to call it. So basically why we like it and why we did the modifications that we did. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this video.